The Majority Report.
Do you know who Alan Simpson is, right? This jackass. He is the co-chair of the so-called Deficit Debt Reduction Committee, or known as the Cat Food Commission, that could not, that was so messed up, so aware that they could not get their proposals through this 18-member commission. They need 14 members to present findings to Congress for a vote, that the chairmans, Alan Simpson and Erskine Bowles, Simpson, a longtime Republican foe of Social Security, Erskine Bowles, a longtime conservative Democrat foe of Social Security, using this debt reduction committee as essentially a cover to redistribute money from wealthy people, millionaires who received their tax cuts from George Bush, redistribute money that was put into the Social Security Trust Fund by wage earners getting taxed on their first $100,000, if they make that much, putting it into the Social Security Trust Fund, and then this Deficit Reduction Committee being used as a front, essentially, to ensure that this money is not have to pay back to the Social Security Trust Fund, and redistributing the wealth upwards. And here's what Alan Simpson said the other day about Social Security. After saying that everyone who anticipates getting their Social Security checks because they have put money in through their entire working career, or their parents put money in, or their grandparents put money in to sustain this perhaps most successful government program in the history of this country. He said that we had the greatest generation, and I think this is the greediest generation. This wealthy man who was basically bequeathed his Senate seat, I would like to see one iota of sacrifice that this non-greedy man, who has the audacity to refer to people who have paid into Social Security and expect it back as teat suckers, and now calling them greedy. These people shouldn't have been allowed to put out any memo about deficit reduction. Social Security has nothing to do with the deficit. Not anything to do with it. Nothing. It's fully self-funded. It can reduce the deficit in the same way that stealing money that is due other people and paying it towards paying off the deficit would reduce the deficit. But it's not creating deficit. It's not responsible for the deficit. It's not increasing the deficit. Cutting it would only allow you to not have to account for the tax cuts that George Bush passed 8-9 years ago that blew a hole in our budget. Anything that comes out of this so-called debt reduction committee should be completely rejected just because these people have made it clear their only reason they're interested in this is as a front to cut Social Security. If people want to cut the military budget, good. They should. But it shouldn't happen through this debt reduction committee because it is a complete front to rob the vast majority of Americans. Complete front.
The Majority Report.